I wanted to find out if a team of only Grass Starter Pokemon could fight their way to the pinnacle of Paldea and be crowned the true champions, and well, there was only one way to find out. After completing my Shiny Lock series, I really wanted to play through the game again with a bit of a twist. Now my favourite Pokemon of all time is Bulbasaur, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't try to beat the game without him by my side. But why stop there? Grass Pokemon have been a staple of nearly every Pokemon game released, being one of the 3 starter Pokemon types on offer. Throughout the generations we've seen some beastly Grass Pokemon and some, well, I'll just skip over them. Bulbasaur though is definitely one of the strongest grass Pokemon, but there have been some other great grass starters over the years too. So as I thought about what team I wanted to use alongside Bulbasaur, it only made sense to bring his generational family along for the ride. And with that, let me introduce our all-star team. The captain and mascot for this run is our very own Bulbasaur, nicknamed Green. Second in command, we couldn't do a Scarlet run without Sprigatito, aka Scarlet. Slow and steady, coming in third is the one, the only, Pearl the Turtwig. Boom boom, shake the room, it's Sword the Grookey. He's always got your back and bringing the support, it's Crystal the Chikorita. And finally, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Sun the Rowlet. And yes, I know I should have called him Moon. It's not enough though to just use one type of Pokemon, let's stick some rules on top. No items in battle, set battle mode, no over leveling, this is really difficult by the way, match the number of Pokemon to the Victory Road leaders, and no terrestrialization throughout. So, enough of the admin, let's jump straight into the run. We kick things off on the Poké path and have to make normally one of the hardest decisions of any young adventurer. For us though, it's pretty obvious. We choose the grass kitten Sprigatito and head down to the beach to catch some rays. Nemona, however, has other ideas and won't take no for an answer. We quickly dispatch Nemona's Quaxly and she actually takes it really well, although she definitely gives off stalker vibes. We catch our first Pokemon and use the story break to change our appearance to something a little more comfortable. As we head up the path, we're interrupted by a cutscene showing off a very tired Koraidon. We jump off the cliff without hesitation, somehow knowing our phone would save us from the fall. We give Koraidon the sandwich we got from our mum, and so begins the cycle of feeding an ancient Pokemon's carb addiction. After saving us from the cave, we meet Arven, who tells us more about Koraidon and lets us keep him, like he had a choice. After all that, we finally have some free time as we head to the next town. This gives us the perfect opportunity to sort our team. Using Pokemon Home, you can connect your game to another save file, and that means I can use my main file to transfer our team across. After getting our team, we run through Los Platos and get some levels on the way to Mesagoza, before being accosted by a very excited Nemona. We quickly dispatch Nemona and follow her direction into Mesagoza City. As we head into the city though, we're hit by another cutscene, and this time we step in to save someone in need. Taking the prize for the worst dance move since the Nene, enter stage left Team Star, one of the least intimidating organisations of the Pokemon games. Gone are the days when Pokemon bad guys would steal, exploit and literally try to destroy the world. I'm looking at you, Cyrus. Once we're free from the cutscenes, we're finally able to roam around and head straight to Cortondo for the first gym. Cortondo Gym is all about Bug, and that could have been really scary for a team of grass. Luckily for us, Sun is on the team and learns Aerial Ace from the Trainer Challenge. Matching Katie's 3 Pokemon, I chose Sun, Sword and Scarlet for this battle, knowing we'd be relying on Sun's flying type attacks. Katie sends out Nimble, who falls quickly, followed by Tarantula, another quick KO for Sun. Last up though is Katie's ace Pokemon Teddiursa. An Aerial Ace takes it down to half health, but a super effective Fury Cutter takes us down to 6 HP. Luckily for us, Sun outspeeds Teddiursa though, and we get the first W of the run. After the Bug Gym, our next challenge is the Rock Titan, and something that should be a walk in the park for us. We finish up in Cortondo and head through Mesagoza in search of the giant crab. On our way, we get our team up to level 16 and get our first evolutions of the run. Crystal, Green and Scarlet all evolve into their second forms, and we're ready to face the Rock Crab. We head in with Crystal, who makes short work of Phase 1, and Arven joins us for Phase 2 with Shelder. Not that we actually needed him though. Crystal turns this Titan into crab sticks and we can head on to our next challenge. After Koraidon learns the ability to sprint, we head on to Artisan in search of our third challenge. On the way, Sun evolves and our team levels up to 17, ready to face Brassius' grass team. As custodians of grass Pokemon, this was a battle we couldn't lose. With only 3 Pokemon again, we head into this battle with 3 of our own, but we actually only needed 1. Sun is the MVP of this battle, again because of his aerial ace, and we breeze past Petilil and Smoliv, making it look easy. Brassius' ace is a Grass Terror Sudowoodo, and something we have to be a little wary of due to its rock attacks against our flying grass Pokemon, Sun. Fortunately for us though, Brassius doesn't read the room and hits us with grass moves instead. Aerial Ace slices through Sudowoodo and this fake tree goes down without much of a fight, something Brassius definitely didn't enjoy. After plain sailing so far, this is where it gets hard and why I'm glad we didn't start a Nuzlocke. Grass is deathly weak to flying moves, and when you can't outspeed a super effective attack, it's the perfect storm. I went into this battle to test the water and got absolutely destroyed. We barely made a dint. Attempts 2 and 3, although had different tactics, ultimately had the same result. Attempt 5 though was a stroke of luck. We kick off with Crystal to set up Reflect, and after eating up a rock throw we managed to get it off. Crystal then poisons Bombardier, proving to be the play of the phase. Crystal's last input is to set up Grassy Terrain, and although this won't do much against a one-hit machine, every little helps. By the time Crystal goes down, Reflect was still in play and Poison had taken a third of this oversized nuisance already. Scarlet comes out and we survive a wing attack thanks to Reflect, getting off a low kick in return, half health remaining. The combination of an Oranberry's heal and Grassy Terrain boosts Scarlet's health and pushes it up just enough to survive another rock throw. Scarlet ends Phase 1 with a low kick and we can move on to Phase 2. Not only is this Titan super effective, super fast and super annoying, when battling it you also don't get to pause in between phases, and that means any Pokemon who goes down in Phase 1 doesn't make it into Phase 2. Great. Green comes out first, and after looking at his moveset, which all say, not very effective, I was stuck. And then I saw it, the gamble play, surely it wouldn't work. But what if it did? Green used Sleep Powder and I crossed my fingers. It landed. Bombardier fell asleep and we actually have a chance. Arven's Salt Cube hits hard with a smackdown and the odds of winning are actually looking pretty good. Green tries to chip away at the health bar with his non-effective moves, waiting for Arven to KO with smackdown. But instead, he decides to rock polish. Bombardier wakes up and in an angry rage hits Green with a one-shot pluck, wiping him from the battle instantly. To make things worse though, this bloody bird stole Green's Oranberry and healed itself in the process. While all of this was going on, ever helpful Arven uses rock polish again. The now super fast Knackley finally uses Smackdown again and I head in with Sun, hoping the flying grass typing might not get one shot straight away. Bombardier attacks Knackley with a rock throw and we use Aerial Ace, leaving it around a third left. At this point I'm hoping for a miracle critical hit from Arven, and instead, of course, he uses rock polish again. Sun takes a wing attack and actually lives, managing to hit again with Aerial Ace. This time though, the Flash takes the hint and uses Smackdown, finishing off the Sky Titan. If I thought this battle was hard though, it's got nothing on what's coming up, so stick around to find out if we're crowned champion. We head into the cutscene where Arven makes us a second sandwich and we learn more about his quest. And this one really hits home. This channel is actually named after my late dog Delta, and I know I'd fight off a giant bird as well if it meant helping her. The next challenge puts us up against the first of the Team Star bases, in the form of Giacomo's Dark Base. One that I didn't think would give us too much trouble, and compared to the Sky Titan, it wasn't actually too bad. We defeat 30 Dark Pokemon and finally face off against the base boss. He rides in on his souped up lawnmower and we prepare for battle. I prep the team with berries to remove poison, and although these came in clutch, we're still down to our last 2 Pokemon. With Green sitting ready, we throw out Pearl, hoping to finish off this poison disco. Luckily, Giacomo uses Metal Sound and we take the opportunity to finish him off with a Razor Leaf. Base defeated. Next up is Iono and the Electric Gym. We get our team up to level 24 and get ready to face the music. What I didn't realise though is that Nemona would have other ideas, and before I can even get my name down on the list, she drags us outside and makes us battle. Starting with Crystal, Nemona's Rockruff barely has time to look around before being dispatched. Pawmi is up next and we stick with Crystal. For some reason, Nemona keeps using Charge instead of hitting us, and that means Crystal gets a straightforward KO. Last Pokemon is Quaxwell, and one that should be pretty straightforward. Quaxwell comes out, and rather than keeping a paralysed Crystal in, we swap to Scarlet, giving Nemona a free workup. No issue at all for Scarlet though, a couple of Seed Bombs and Nemona is defeated. Bearing in mind we started this gym at level 24, by the time we got past Nemona and beat the gym trainers, Crystal and Pearl both reached 25. For this battle we bring Green instead of Crystal and Sword joins us in our 4th slot. Our team are prepped with berries and we head into battle. Green puts Wattrel to sleep turn 1 and manages to get some decent damage off, but Wattrel isn't asleep long and out DPS's Green. We send out Scarlet to finish the job and outspeeds Wattrel for a clean KO. Luxio is next and we trade Seed Bomb for Bite, but because we outspeed Luxio, we get the KO with about half HP. Bellibolt is next and we try a Low Kick. Now I assumed Bellibolt being so heavy, Low Kick would do some decent damage, but I was very wrong. Another Seed Bomb and we lose Scarlet. Next up is Pearl. Although we don't outspeed, Spark doesn't paralyse and we get a clean Mud Shot off. We finish Bellibolt off with a Bite and Iono brings in her ace, Miss Magius. Now my team are holding Persimberries, meaning Confuse Ray shouldn't be too bad. Miss Magius instantly uses Confuse Ray, but the berry comes in clutch and clears Pearl's confusion just long enough for us to get 2 attacks off. A second Confuse Ray can't be stopped, but fortunately for us, Pearl attacks through it twice and KOs Miss Magius, beating Iono and claiming the 3rd gym badge. Next up is the base of nightmares for a Grass Starter only run, and boy was it rough. We level up our team to 27 and attempt the Team Star Fire base. We fly through the 30 Pokemon and come face to face with the Fire Devil that is Mela. Now I won't dwell, it was a massacre and every tactic seemed to come up short. Crystal's Stomping Tantrum combined with other ground moves got us to the fiery death trap of a car, but each time we just couldn't beat it. I was getting desperate at this point and I had one final trick up my sleeve. We headed to Messagoza and bought some weighted bands. Blazing Talk is a physical move, so we focused on defense and fled back to the Poco path to train in solitude.
What do you say, guys? You can just hang outside in the sun all day tossing a ball around, or you can sit at your computer and do something that matters.
With our training complete and luck on our side, we went back to face Mela, and what do you know? I think we might actually have a chance. It's raining. And as I go to use a move, I realise we didn't heal up and Green has no PP for Acid Spray. We reload the game, heal up and head back, but on our return, the rain had stopped. Of course it did. We throw Green out and use Sleep Powder, putting Torkoal to sleep. Green then uses Acid Spray to deal some damage and reduce the special defense. Torkoal remains asleep and we get a really easy first knockout. That is until Mela calls upon her wacky racer, which instantly deletes Green. Scarlet is up next and manages to get a tail whip off before being removed from the battle in turn 2. Next up is Sword, and we use Screech to try and reduce that defense stat even further. Mela removes Sword with another Blazing Talk, and this is looking close. We send out Sun, who takes 2 Screeches but gets 2 attacks off in return. That Focus Band comes in clutch and leaves us with 1 health and another chance to attack. Out goes Pearl. I now have everything crossed we can get a couple more attacks off. Pearl uses Mudshot, which does some damage but nowhere near enough. Holding on with 14 HP, Pearl's attack misses and we go down to another Blazing Talk. It's all down to Crystal. We take a Screech and in return use a Stomping Tantrum, which finishes off Shedder and we beat Mela. Finally. I can't believe we actually managed to get past Mela, but she had nothing on some of the battles coming up. After watching Mela's cutscenes, we go straight to the Steel Titan and get some levels on the way. There isn't a whole lot to say about this battle though. Scarlet's low kick deleted the giant worm and we move on to the next challenge. Why can't they all be this easy? To make this battle a little trickier, we head in under leveled, because why not? After sorting Kofu's mess out and giving his wallet back, we actually managed to battle him, and as you can imagine, it's pretty straightforward. Kofu has 3 Pokemon, so we call up Green, Pearl and Crystal. I've got to say, he wears his hairdo with some confidence. He looks to me like a cross between Waves, a wedding cake and a random blue bird flying over his forehead. Anyway, back to the battle. Veluza's pluck destroys Green, and with no way out, Green goes down in turn 2 but manages to deal a good chunk of damage first. Pearl comes out second and finishes off Veluza with a Mega Drain, recouping some of that plucked HP. Next up is Wugtrio, and we go for a Mega Drain again, but it misses. 2 headbutts in and we actually manage to hit, absorbing some health. A Razor Leaf finishes off Wugtrio, and now we're on to Kofu's ace, Crabominable. I was actually a little nervous for this one, but as he knows no ice moves, we should be okay. Pearl tries to outdamage the fluffy crab but can't manage it and eventually goes down. Out goes Crystal to mop up, and another gym battle win goes into the book. Another day and another super effective battle to come up against. On the way to the poison base, Crystal, Pearl and Green evolve into their final forms. Pearl learns Earthquake, which will be perfect for this battle. We prep our team with Pekka Berries to remove poison and head into battle. Atticus leads with Skuntank, who loves poisoning, and we lead with Pearl and his new move, Earthquake. Skuntank, Muck and Reveroom go down to a single Earthquake each, however, each manage to chip away at Pearl's health. We now face Navi, the Starmobile, and its special move, Noxious Talk. Pearl gets 2 Earthquakes off against the toxic Tin Can, but can't finish the job. We send Crystal out next, who gets a Reflect Off, and we didn't actually need it. Crystal finishes off this battle with a Stomping Tantrum, and we progress onwards and upwards. Next up is the normal gym, and we match Larry's 3 Pokemon with Green, Sun and Pearl. Not the hardest, but of the battles we've faced so far, this is definitely up there as being one of the most annoying. I can't believe how many times Larry's Kamala uses Yawn. Every time we chipped his health, I had to swap out again to make sure one of our Pokemon didn't fall asleep. We do manage to finish him off though, and this brings out the Dunsparce. The luck this Pokemon had was unreal. Green manages to get a Sleep Powder to connect, and I'm hoping for a couple of turns of peace, but no. We get 1 hit off before taking a crit Horn Drill to the face. Green uses Sleep Powder again, and as we look to finish the Dunsparce, of course he wakes up again instantly and blasts Green out of battle. We send Sun next, who manages to outspeed the Dunsparce, and we come face to face with Larry's ace, Staraptor. Going blow to blow with Staraptor, Sun gets off some decent damage but just can't finish the job. Out goes Pearl for the win. With Staraptor's normal Terror type and use of Intimidate, I was pretty sure an Earthquake would hit. I hit A and crossed my fingers. Pearl tanks an Aerial Ace before finishing off Staraptor with a clean Earthquake. Victory. Not for long though, because once again nagging Nemona drags us outside for a battle. At least Geeta heals us before we fight this time. Green wipes out Lycanroc without issue, but Goomy absorbs nearly all of Green's attacks. We manage to get a couple of Acid Sprays to connect, finishing off the Gloopy Slug. Pormo comes out next, and even though Green is low HP, he clutches up with a Sleep Powder and 2 Acid Sprays. Final Pokemon is Nemona's ace, Quaquaval. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Green outspeeds the Dancing Duck and puts him to sleep. A clean Seed Bomb finishes the battle, and we didn't even need Sun or Pearl. Easy. MC Rhyme is the first double battle and one of the most straightforward battles of this run so far. After battling through the gym trainers, we get a chance to battle Rhyme and her team of 4 ghosts. We match up with Crystal, Pearl, Sword and Scarlet, a nice combination of support and dark moves. We lead with Crystal and Pearl to get a light screen in play and use Pearl's Razor Leaf to damage both opponents. After removing Mimikyu's disguise, Pearl uses Bite to wipe out Burnett. Houndstone avoids Pearl's Bite with Phantom Force and Crystal KOs Mimikyu. Rhyme's ace Toxtricity comes out, but an Earthquake by Pearl wipes it out, taking out Crystal in the process. Houndstone avoids again with Phantom Force. Scarlet comes out to tank a Phantom Force, letting Pearl take the win. Another gym down. After being crowned a certified lyrical genius, we head straight over to the Ground Titan battle. I didn't think it was worth levelling here as it should be the quickest battle of the run, and to be honest, it probably was. Crystal leads with a Reflect and a single Magic Leaf wipes out half of the Great Tusk's HP. Scarlet faces the second phase alongside Arven's Scavillion, but a couple of Flower Tricks wins the fight for us. Sada lets us know Koraidon can now glide, and this is perfect because I've lost count of how many times I've tried to glide but can't. We head over to Alphanada for our next battle. We level up our team to 45 and match Tulip's 4 Pokemon head on. Crystal gets to level 46 before we enter though, so he's benched for this one. What's annoying though is by the time we dispatch Nemona and the 2 gym trainers, our team of 4 are all 46 anyway. We dance through our emotions, beat the warm-up packs and finally manage to face Tulip. We match Tulip's 4 Pokemon with Sun, Pearl, Sword and Scarlet, a mix of dark moves that should counter our psychic opponents. Sun is up first and faces off against the Farigiraf. A couple of Leaf Blades KOs the backwards Giraffe and Tulip brings out Espathra. Espathra outspeeds Sun, who faints to a powerful psychic attack, and out goes Scarlet. Scarlet being grass and dark, he's the perfect counter for Tulip's Pokemon already, but he also outspeeds them. Night Slash wrecks Espathra and he eats a Shadow Ball for fun. Down goes Tulip's second Pokemon and now we face Gardevoir. With a Fairy typing, I was a little nervous for this one, although we chunk down her health, Scarlet can't survive a Dazzling Gleam. Out goes Sword, and we use a Razor Leaf to ensure the KO and come up against Tulip's ace, Florges. Sword uses knockoff, and even though it's more effective for those Pokemon holding an item, it still hits over half of Florges' HP. We finish off the Giant Flower in the next turn, meaning Pearl misses out on the action this time. After taking a selfie, we move on and prepare for the Ice Gym, and let me tell you, that won't be fun. Ice is super effective against grass, so I knew this gym would be hard, but wow did I feel it. For the fire gym we trained our defense stat, but Grush's Pokemon use a lot of special attacks, meaning we just get destroyed. The key to winning this battle was beating Frostmoth without losing a Pokemon or too much health, and that was a massive challenge in itself. Frostmoth kicks each battle off with Tailwind, meaning we're always going to be outspared, and on top of that, she must have the most accurate use of Blizzard I've ever come up against. This battle took quite a few tries to get the right tactic and look factor combined, and that meant I had to sit through this Sawaddle cutscene a lot. And let me tell you, it is definitely not a surprise anymore by attempt number 6. I also stopped myself losing too much money by resetting the game in between battles. Effective, but it also meant I had to watch the load up screen and cutscene multiple times. Fun. I seriously contemplated whether this battle was at all possible. Blizzard basically one-hit us, and if it didn't, we were mopped up by Titan's Ice Spinner. It wasn't even close. And then attempt number 9 happened. The perfect mix of luck and planning came together to form a winning combination. We lead with Green, who lands a Sleep Powder. Swapping into Crystal, we get a light screen off to protect us against Blizzard and then try and get as much damage off as possible. One single body slam and Frostmoth wakes up. Crystal takes a Blizzard with half health remaining and keeps damaging the Flying Pest. Incredibly though, ever accurate Frostmoth misses its first attack and we actually managed to knock it out without losing Crystal. I can feel myself getting excited about this run and I can't get carried away. Grush's Pokemon are ruthless. For Beartic, we try to attack but are instantly wiped out by Icicle Crash. Out goes Green. A Sleep Powder puts Beartic to sleep and followed by an Acid Spray to damage and reduce special defense. A Seed Bomb drops Beartic's health low but he wakes up and uses Icicle Crash. I thought this was it. From previous battles, I knew Icicle Crash destroyed our team and I was just crossing my fingers. And then I see an incredible sight. Green avoided the attack. A second Seed Bomb sends Beartic back to hibernation and we face down with Sir Titan, by no means an easy battle. Unless you're Green. Green uses Sleep Powder to knock out Sir Titan and follows up with a barrage of Petal Blizzards before Sir Titan can even wake up. Was this it? Was I actually about to beat Grusha? Altaria the Ace comes out and I am nervous. We're in a really good position with 3 Pokemon remaining and all full health, but I can't get carried away. We try Sleep Powder again and it misses. Not like this. Hurricane connects, and as I see Green's health bar go down, I'm tensing up. He survives, but not only that, Green gets a sleep powder off, which lands. As the second Petal Blizzard hits and KOs Altaria, all I can think about is the performance of a lifetime from Green. Living up to his title as captain and cheerleader, Green carried us through that whole battle. With that win, we collect our last gym badge and we can finally face down against the Pokemon League. Before we can attempt the Pokemon League though, we've got some stuff to clear up first, like those Team Star guys still hanging around. We head over to the Fairy Base and hunt down chances to get level 50. We then fight our way through the horde of Fairy Pokemon, leading us to Ortega and his bright pink chariot. Ortega leads with Azumarill and we lead with Green, although this one doesn't last very long. Seed Bomb wipes out Azumarill and we move on to Wigglytuff, who can't survive 2 acid sprays. Next up is Dashbun, and although he outspeeds us with Crunch, he can't survive 2 acid sprays either. Finally, we come up against the hot pink Starmobile Rookbur, and before Green can even attack, he's wiped out by a Steel Roller. We throw in Pearl to try and get some earthquake damage, and he instantly becomes confused, missing 2 out of 3 of his attacks before being knocked out. Scarlet is up next and manages to outspeed with a Flower Trick, and we're confused in return. Scarlet damages himself in turn 2. We do get another Flower Trick off, but Scarlet goes down to a second Magic Talk. Sun gets confused as soon as he enters the battle and hurts himself in confusion. Snapping out of it in turn 2, Sun gets a Leaf Blade off before being confused again and hurting himself again. Incredibly, Sun survives with low HP, breaks through confusion and manages to get another hit off against the giant pink People Eater. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and I definitely regret not giving my team berries to stop confusion for this one, but no matter, Ortega goes down and we move on to the next base. We go straight from the Fairy Base to the Fighting Base and head right in to clear 30 Fighting type Pokemon. We finally reach Airy and lead with Crystal, who gets a Reflect Up before taking out Toxicroak with Stomping Tantrum. Annihilape is up next and we get a couple of hits off before Crystal goes down to a second close combat. Next up is Sun, who tanks a Rage Fist and replies with an Aerial Ace, wiping out the jumped up 8 from battle. Lucario comes out next and Sun goes down to a Dark Pulse before he can even attack. We throw out Pearl, who tanks an Aura Sphere and deletes Lucario with a super effective Earthquake. Surviving with only 5 health, Pearl gets a Giga Drain off against Persimmon but can't survive the second attack. We throw out Green, who finished off the fight with a Petal Blizzard. Bring on Aries Ace, Calf the Fighting Starmobile. Between turns, Calf's defense stat is boosted, meaning we need to go hard with special moves, and what better way to do that than with Acid Spray, which also reduces special defense. Although we don't outspeed, Green gets 3 attacks off, harshly damaging Aries Ace in the process. As I think Green is about to go down, Eri decides to use a shift gear, meaning we're free to attack, and Green happily obliges. A 4th Acid Spray deletes Calf and we can move on. We have 2 battles left to complete Starfall Street and they certainly won't be easy. Even though throughout this whole story we've been referring to Clive as Clavell, we still somehow look shocked to see him standing in front of the doors. We level up our Pokemon to 60 and attempt the battle. I say attempt because I quickly realise this ain't going to be easy. Even if we get to Clavell's Ace with a few Pokemon left, Skeledirge destroys us with Torch Song. After a couple of attempts, I know what I need to do. I run around the map beating raids and collecting items to sell, gathering enough money for some bottle caps. We can use bottle caps to hyper train our Pokemon, and I'm hoping that makes all the difference. Along our journey searching for money, we came across a majestic sight, a shiny Stantler. This was my first shiny I'd seen on this run, and it was so awesome to see one without a shiny charm. This is a Grass Starter only challenge though, so Stantler gets deleted, green shiny or not. Anyway, back to the grind. I got a friend to trade me an ability patch which we then used on Scarlet. Scarlet's hidden ability is Protein, and this means whatever attack the Pokemon uses becomes its typing. I hope this would be the key to bringing down Clavell. I'm now as ready as I'll ever be and we head back to school. We start with Sword to face off against Oranguru with Earthquake. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage and a Yawn means we need to swap out. This happens a couple more times but we finally finish him off with a Giga Drain from Pearl. Clavell sends out Abomasnow, one of the reasons this battle is so difficult. Pearl goes down to Blizzard and we send out Sun. Sun uses Aerial Ace, which chunks Abomasnow, who replies with Aurora Veil. We get another Aerial Ace off, but that Veil halved our damage, and Sun barely hangs on after taking a Blizzard to the face, but as I'm celebrating, he gets frozen. What are the chances? Sun goes down to an Ice Shard and we send out Sword, who finishes off Abomasnow. Gyarados is no match for Sword, who easily dispatches him with some strong grass moves. Advantage, us. Poltergeist is next, but he doesn't last long against two strong knockoff attacks. He does, though, manage to get Sword down to 10 HP. Sword gets an Earthquake off against Clavell's Amoonguss, and as I'm thinking who to bring out next, Sword survives a Hex with 1 HP. We get off a Boom Burst before Sword goes down, and we call on Green to finish off Amoonguss. Last Pokemon. All of my training, all of my hard work and research to find the best possible strategy came down to this moment. Clavell terrestrializes Skeledirge and we go for the Sleep Powder, which lands. It doesn't just land though, Skeledirge stays asleep, allowing Green to finish him off and win us the battle. I can't believe after all that work we didn't even need Scarlet or Crystal. We go straight into the fight with Penny, and after the ordeal we went through against Clavell, I was expecting a really difficult battle, but to be honest, it was pretty easy. Sword takes out the very tanky Umbreon with a few Earthquakes, but doesn't take much damage in the process. Flareon tanks an Earthquake and manages to knock out Sword, but is quickly defeated by a second Earthquake from Green. Vaporeon barely comes into the battle before being destroyed by a Petal Blizzard. Leafeon suffers the same fate but from 2 Acid Sprays instead. Jolteon gets a Thunder off but can't survive an Earthquake. Sylveon is next, and even with Green's low HP he still gets 2 Acid Sprays off, letting Sun take the glory with an Aerial Ace. Starfall Street complete. The last thing we need to do before the league is to finish off the Titans. Although this was the highest level Titan, it was actually really straightforward for a grass team. We head straight from our battle with Penny to find the False Dragon, and a few play roughs from Scarlet does the trick to finish Phase 1. Phase 2 goes the same way. Scarlet leads, and 3 play roughs later we've beaten Phase 2. Why wasn't it this straightforward earlier on? Phase 3 starts and ends the same way as 1 and 2. Scarlet beating the life out of a dragon with play rough. All Titans completed and Koraidon almost back to beast mode. I'll be honest, the hardest part about the Elite Four was sitting through that bloody exam at the start. The battles that came after were so straightforward, it wasn't really fair. Rika's ground Pokemon can't survive our grass moves, making the first battle a cakewalk. Poppy was probably the hardest of the 4 though, because of her Corviknight and Magnezone combination. With its flying moves destroying our grass Pokemon and Steel Body deflecting our attacks, Corviknight was a real problem. Time to bring out the secret weapon. Scarlet uses Chilling Water and assumes the Water type. 2 attacks and Corviknight goes down. Next up is Magnezone, who wipes out Scarlet with an electric move due to his water typing. Magnezone goes down to Crystal's Stomping Tantrum, Bronzong falls to Pearl's Crunch, and Poppy sends her last Pokemon, Tinkaton. Unfortunately for her though, Pearl is a dab hand with an Earthquake and makes short work. Larry is up next and brings a team of flying Pokemon. Tropius gets some good damage off but can't survive Pearl's Crunch. Altaria's Ice Beam makes short work of Pearl and we counter with Scarlet. Scarlet uses Play Rough to become a Fairy type and KOs Altaria in the process. Next up is Staraptor, who can't survive 2 Play Roughs in a row. Alcario goes down to Sword's Boom Burst Assault and we come up against Larry's ace, Flamigo. Sword gets a good hit off before going down and Larry makes short work of Sun. We then send out Scarlet with less than half HP to finish the job, and outspeeding Flamigo, we win the battle. Last up is Hassel, who, by the way, if you told me he was a bad guy, I would completely understand. This dude looks evil. I think it's the eyes. We lead with Scarlet, who one-hits Noivern with Play Rough and also assumes Fairy typing. Dragalge manages to tank a Play Rough and in reply tries to poison us. Not today though, we have berries on our side. Play Rough finishes off Dragalge and Hassel sends out his 3rd Pokemon, Haxorus. Haxorus manages to avoid Scarlet's attacks and finishes him off with a Steel one. We then send out Green, who KOs Haxorus with a couple of Earthquakes, and Flapple is next, but can't survive an Earthquake Acid Spray combination. Hassle's final Pokemon is Baxcalibur, and one I'm a little nervous of. That was until he fell asleep. Green then starts attacking with Acid Spray, but can't survive an Icicle Crash once he wakes up. Pearl manages to finish off the Ice Dragon with 1 HP after sticking it out and surviving a second Icicle Crash. What a beast. Our team of 66s going in now looks more like 68s, but that's fine, there's not much I can do about it now. Geeta opens up with a Spathra, so we send out Pearl. Crunch nearly KOs her first Pokemon, but we take a lot of damage before we can dispatch the weird Ostrich. Next up is the super fast Tuna Fish, and incredibly, we outspeed it. A Giga Drain either side of a missed Ice Fang restores a chunk of Pearl's health and removes another of Geeta's Pokemon. Next up though is Avalugg, a terrifying ice Pokemon who can easily wipe our team, and Pearl quickly goes down to an Avalanche. We send out Sun, who tanks an Avalanche and lands 2 Leaf Blades, KOing the giant iceberg. Next up is Kingambit, a slightly scary Pokemon. Sun goes down getting a Leaf Blade off, and we send out Sword next. Earthquake almost KOs Kingambit, but he's able to get a hit on Sword on his way out. Go-Go is next. What a random Pokemon, by the way. Sword outdamages the Billy Goat using Boom Burst, and we're on to Geeta's final Pokemon already. The floating rock flower that is Glimmora is up next. Geeta terrestrializes straight away into rock, and we annihilate it with Sword's drum beating. I don't know why, I honestly expected this battle to be harder. After beating Geeta, Nemona challenges us to a battle of equals, and we meet her in Mesagoza City. After the most cinematic Pokemon battle opening ever, we face off against Nemona. Pearl eats Lycanroc alive with an Earthquake, but then gets frozen by a super speedy Goodra and can't recover. We then send out Scarlet next, who Oko's Goodra with a Play Rough and takes on the Fairy typing, although not great against a Steel Worm. Not a problem though, because Low Kick is super effective and makes short work of the Metal Worm. Pawmot is next and gets destroyed by Scarlet's Play Rough. The Dunsparce is able to beat Scarlet eventually, but is no match for Sun, who gets the KO. Last up is Quaquaval, and let's be honest, he ain't gonna do much. Sun uses Leaf Blade, which cuts straight through the Saltarin Duck. Easy. Nemona who? No Scarlet run is complete without beating AI Sada though, and that is where we head next. Sun leads against Sada's Slitherwing, but it doesn't last long, suffering an Oko with Aerial Ace. Fluttermane is next, and although it gets a Shadow Ball in, it can't survive a Spirit Shackle. Screamtail tanks a Spirit Shackle and Sun goes down. Green steps up and Acid Spray gets rid of Sada's Screamtail. Brute Bonnet KOs Green with a Sucker Punch, and we send out Scarlet to counter. Play Rough ruins Brute Bonnet, but we can't do much against Sandy Sharks. Swapping to Pearl, Sada gets a free hit, but we reply with an Oko Earthquake. Sada's last Pokemon is Roaring Moon, who finishes off Pearl, but we send out Scarlet for the win. Challenge complete. Although this challenge took me a little longer than expected, I am so glad I took it on. Grass Starters are such good Pokemon, and I am buzzing I managed to finish with them. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, it really does mean the world to me. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button because you won't want to miss what we do next. Thank you so much for watching.